Now it's time to introduce our next speaker. It's Dan Symons, CEO for C3 Metals, a Canadian junior exploration company that discovers and develops large copper and gold deposits in Peru and Jamaica, which is very interesting. So this will be an exotic presentation, I'll take it. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And thank you all for being here today to hear the C3 story, and thanks to Nordic Funds and Mines Conference for having C3 present here today. My name's Dan Symons. I'm the CEO of C3 Metals. I've been with the company just over 3 years. I will be making some forward-looking statements today based on the best information that we have with us today. I think when you're looking at early stage exploration mining investments, it's really important to know who the people are and the track record that they have. And when we look at our board and management team, given we have a short presentation time frame, hard to walk through every single bio of every individual. Happy to do that offline outside here. But if you look at our team, we have a combined 180 years of experience where we've created billions of dollars through building mines, cash flow, exiting through sales of mines. We've raised billions of dollars in the capital markets, both in equity and debt markets, to build mines. We've been involved in billions of dollars of M&A and transactions, and we've been involved in the discovery and or delineation of 35 billion pounds of copper and over 50 million ounces of gold. So very strong track record of delivering value for our shareholders. We're a little unique for a junior company. Today our market cap is floating around 100 million Canadian dollars. Most companies with market caps this size are very retail held. We're a little unique in that where we're very heavily institutionally held. If you look at institutions and insiders, we control over 65% of the company. Very tight share structure with just under 100 million shares outstanding today, 0 warrants. And we're very happy to have the shareholder base we have that to keep us going and fund what we're doing. Our business strategy is very simple, and we're very disciplined about it. We're copper, gold focused. We think we're good at identifying early stage exploration opportunities and doing the grunt work to build out district scale land positions around those opportunities that'll be big enough and interesting to major companies. And then we do quite frankly, the non-sexy type of exploration where you're getting geologists, boots on the ground, doing geological mapping. You're collecting soil and rock geochemistry data to see what the minerals are at surface. You're collecting geophysical data to be able to see subsurface. And then usually after 1 or 2 phases of drilling and testing these targets, we come to decision points. It's a very systematic and data-driven approach. Because it is exploration, there are times where it just doesn't work out. And if that happens, if it doesn't meet our criteria of what we think, with our experience, that we think it'll take to have a very high probability of becoming a mine, we would divest of that opportunity and recycle capital back into the business. If we get fortunate where we get into good grade mineralization right near surface, then we look to keep 100% and really hit it hard because that's low capital intensity to drill out large resources. And then there are instances where we'll seek to partner. For instance, if we come across a project that has significant potential, but the capital is going to be quite capital intensive, we'll look to bring in a major partner. Also, we're very commercial. If it looks like ourselves and another company each have part of a mineral system, we'll look to create a joint venture instead of just having 2 companies with half of a system. So when we look at our project portfolio, we're, again, a little unique for a junior company where we're active and we're drilling right now, as I speak today, on 3 separate projects. 2 are in Jamaica and 1 is in Peru. The first one here, and I'll go into a little bit more detail on each, but the first one we call the Superblock. This was a case that ourselves and a neighboring company, it looked like we each had part of an epithermal gold system. We put about equal parts of ground together. We announced March last year, and that gave us a 5-kilometer gold trend now that we're drilling on today. Also in Jamaica, we identified a 130 square kilometer area with an 18-kilometer strike extent with multiple porphyry deposits, porphyries being the #1 supply of copper from mines in the world to the market. These deposit types are very capital intensive, but all the major companies love them because once you get them up into production, they run for 40, 50, 60, sometimes 100 plus years. So this was an example where we identified something that was looks very, very promising, but it's also going to be significant capital. And we know who we are as a little company, so we partnered with Freeport McMoran, who's the largest copper producer in the world, and they're investing up to 75% to earn 75% by spending $75 million in project expenditures. And then arguably our best geologic target in our portfolio is our Khaleesi Project in Peru, which is 100% owned. We've got it fully permitted, and we just commenced on September 30th the first rope program ever on this. We're literally drilling the first hole into this project today. I'll just give you a quick rundown on the history in Jamaica, because we are the first movers there in terms of copper gold, although mining's the #2 industry in the country, derived from a very extensive bauxite aluminum country. It's been one of the top producers for close to 75 years. But we came in and we identified an opportunity in Jamaica along this major fault zone that bisects the island. And we acquired 210 square kilometers of exploration licenses. And then a local ultra high net worth individual saw what we were doing and who put together a private company, and with his connections to the government, he was able to pick up basically 40% of the island and everything else the government was willing to put together. We didn't want to be rivals or competitors. Built a relationship with this individual. Today he's a 5% shareholder of C3 Metals, and he's very focused on seeing us succeed. That's who we partnered with to create the Superblock project, which we announced last year. And then he went and did a deal with Barrick, which became the first major to come into Jamaica, and they're earning up to 80% on everything else. And then this February, we brought in Freeport into Jamaica. So what started a couple years ago as a lot of investors raising their eyebrows at us and saying, are you guys crazy going into Jamaica? Now there's 2 major mining companies there. We saw an opportunity as the first movers into this area. When we look at where we're located in the center of the island, if we zoom in on it, you can see our Superblock project outlined here in the blue, and then what Freeport's earning into outlined here in the red. And it's not like there wasn't mining here in the past. It just happened a long time ago for copper. You can see just to the bottom right here of the screen, these are all locations of historical copper mines in the 1850s when the British had first colonized in Jamaica, and they were actually mining copper and shipping it back to England. The only modern day metallic mine is where you see the arrow pointing to the past producing Pennant's gold mine, which is a very, very small bootstrap operation, produced just for a couple years, closed in 2004. But what caught our attention was the grade at 20 grams per ton gold on this historic mine. We think there's more to give here. The pit's only 30 meters deep. The average drill depth's only 80 meters deep. We know there's intercepts below and outside of this pit. And by combining ground with our partner and creating this joint venture, we've now delineated a 5-kilometer gold trend with the old mine right in the center. We're actively drilling along this 5-kilometer trend right now. We released our first results just a couple of weeks ago. The stock performed very well off those, up 19%. We're going to have more results to come on this active program that we're drilling on today. What we're doing so that's our Superblock project. What we're doing with the earning that Freeport's earning in on all those stars are the locations of identified porphyry prospects. Again, very, very large, capital intensive to drill and build mines around, but also very, very meaningful for a supply of copper to the market and for all the major companies. We had identified 14 of these. We had drill tested ourselves in 2022 and 2023, 4 of the 14. And when we zoom in on that 4-kilometer area where we were doing that drill testing, we were averaging about 0.5 to 0.6% copper equivalent when you factor in the value of the gold with the copper over broad widths 200 to 300 meters. To put this in perspective, the average operating open pit copper mine today is running at 0.5%. So these results are in line or slightly better than the average today. But some of our deeper holes, we're seeing grades come up to 0.8, 1%, close to 1.5%. So we realized we wanted to drill deeper into this system to really get into the core of the high-grade portion of this system, and that's what we're going to be doing with Freeport next year. Right now, we're testing some of those other stars you see here that have not been drill tested. We have a drill rig capable of drilling the 500 meters depth. Concurrent with that, we're running a massive 70 square kilometer geophysical survey program, which will help inform where we're going to drive deep holes. Next year, we're looking at 10,000 meters in 10 1-kilometer holes. So these are the types of things, if it comes together, these are big assets. Obviously, Freeport being a $60 billion market cap company, they're looking for big assets, and to the fact that they're here with us in Jamaica, entering a new jurisdiction, partnering with a little junior like us, I think speaks volumes to the scale potential here. So we're the first movers in Jamaica into a relatively new jurisdiction for copper and gold. We are also moved in and assembled what I believe now is the largest land position for a junior on a very well-known copper producing belt in southern Peru. We're less than, you can see our property here in the tan color. It's 310 square kilometers that we've consolidated. We're less than 45 kilometers from the Las Bambas mine operated by MMG, which is one of the top copper mines in the world. We're also less than 45 kilometers from Hudbay Minerals' Constancia mine. Further to the southeast, Glencore's operating Antipaque, and if you go zoomed out a little bit, ironically, it would be Freeport with the Cerro Verde mine, which is their second biggest producer. But you can also see some of our neighbors in exploration stage and development stage projects with BHP in the light blue, Rio Tinto in the dark blue, First Quantum Minerals in that yellow color. Obviously, Hudbay's there. Barrick has been grabbing a lot of ground to the southeast of us recently. Teck is here, or maybe Anglo-Teck. We'll see if that deal concludes. But basically, we're a junior among the giants, and we've consolidated a very large land position here where we've identified 15 skarn and porphyry prospects across this. We started by acquiring a private company on the Eastern Central Project area where we saw a series of smaller skarn deposits. There's 13 of them over a 28-kilometer belt on the eastern side of the property. To date, we've only drill tested one of those 13. That gave us a pit-constrained resource. We used economics at the time, 2 years ago, of $3 copper and $1,800 gold, which means within that pit, the metal sitting within that pit is about 570 million pounds of copper and 326,000 ounces of gold on the first small deposit. But as we were expanding our land position and we moved to the west, Khaleesi really became the focus, because Khaleesi is located in the very same geologic setting of all the major mines along this belt. All the mines along this belt, if you look at what's been mined and what's left to be mined, are all north of 1 billion tons of ore. So very, very giant deposits, all mining a combination of these porphyry, large porphyry-type deposits with also associated skarn, which just means mineralized fluid hits limestone and creates skarn. And we sit right along the contact of those two rock units, similar to all those major mines. In that teal color is the limestone, the purple color is the batholith. In between there, where those two rocks units make contact, that's where these intrusive rocks and these deposits are being formed. So we came through, we did geologic mapping after gaining social license with the local indigenous community and coming to an agreement with the community. We did all the geologic mapping, then we collected the soil geochemistry. Now, we get excited anytime we see large anomalies over 300 parts per million in soil. That means the minerals, the copper minerals, are leaching up into the soils from down below. We were ecstatic when we saw these results. On the eastern side, you can see here the north zone and south zone combined. This is 1.9 kilometers running north-south by up to 650 meters wide east-west. A massive anomaly where the northern half averaged 650 ppm copper, the southern half averaged 950 ppm copper, and then over that skarn area, it's 400 by 470 meters, averaging 1,260 ppm copper. So this is double, triple, and quadruple what gets us excited. Then we went through and ran the geophysics. On the top, you see the magnetics, because these deposits hold a lot of magnetite. We're looking at a bird's eye view straight down. You see two large magnetic bodies, both over 1 kilometer in diameter. And if you do simple math, 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, if we assume 400 meters depth, that's 1 billion tons of rock. So the question is, what's the grade of this rock? And we need to drill that to find out. If we take a slice along that black line on that top image, and now on the bottom of the slide, instead of looking like a bird's eye view straight down, we look at it from the side like a slice in the ground. This is what we call IP chargeability. This picks up those sulfide minerals that we're looking for. And you can see very clearly a skarn zone and a porphyry zone here. And then when we look at the resistivity, you would expect skarns are very, they soak up fluid, mineralized fluid like a sponge, very conductive, so that lights up. Whereas porphyries have a lot of quartz, hard quartz veins running through them, and stockworks more resistive. So all the ingredients are here. There's limited outcropping rock, but where there is outcropping rock, we're seeing very, very strong grades in both the skarn and the porphyry. And we're in a unique position now where we've started drilling on this project. It's the first drill holes ever going into it. And we're really excited to what we see. We're drilling with two drill rigs. We're going to have first results probably coming out late November, early December, and that will continue all the way through the end of the first quarter. And as a small company, around 100 million Canadian market cap, it's important to note we're fully funded for all these programs. We're maximizing discovery potential for our shareholders by advancing 3 projects concurrently. It gives us a diversified approach, which we're disciplined in managing risk for our shareholders. And I think the fact that we were able to attract a major partner like Freeport just speaks to the volumes of what our technical team is able to uncover. So thank you for taking the time to hear the high-level story today.
Well, thank you. So we will check, do we have any questions from the floor here? And then in that case, I will kick off with one. You mentioned when it comes to Jamaica, which is slightly exotic, at least for us Scandinavians here, you mentioned that you had support from high net worth individuals, and also you have an agreement with Freeport. But how did you end up in Jamaica in the first place? You are a first mover advantage here.
That's a great question. So the chairman of our company has had a long and storied career and created a lot of value in this industry, first through being the first one to build a mine in Laos and make a big discovery in Laos. And sometimes you have to go where the geology tells you to go. And at the time, there was no mining code in Laos. He made an 8 million ounce discovery, gold discovery. That mine's been running over 20 years. You can actually track that success from a 3 million market cap to an eventual exit of 8 billion. So it was quite a big success. He really liked the geology here, and came in and consolidated, put packages together to consolidate this ground. Unlike Laos, there's a strong mining code in Jamaica because mining's the #2 industry because of the bauxite and aluminum that's produced in the country. So great government support, great local support. It's just been tremendously underexplored for copper, gold, and now there's not much room left, and there's us and 2 majors and a private company, and there's not much room left for anyone else.
And may I just piggyback here, raise your hand if you need a question. Just piggyback, because you mentioned the support of the state, and obviously there is a local knowledge, but it was a while, as I understand it, if you look at the history of mines and so on. So what about the infrastructure and let's say, skilled workforce?
Yeah, so there's lots of open pit mining in Jamaica, a lot of quarry type with limestone. There's high quality limestone produced. 80% of exports out of Jamaica are minerals, so that tells you that this is a mining country. What the government's wanting to do is the bauxite industry, which is the #2 industry in the country and the #2 employer. It's been in decline now because it's been going for close to 75 years. These are finite assets. So as that continues to decline and eventually winds down, the government's really rooting for us to bring on this so we can transfer some of those open pit skill sets into what we're doing. We're working with the local university to adjust some of the courses on geology. It's very bauxite focused. We want to get some more balance with what we're doing and the types of deposit types. And they've been very, very supportive of that. So, we're partnering with the local stakeholders to do what we can to bring up that next generation of the skill sets that we're going to need.
In that case, I will have my final question, and you run through the names of the management and the CVs and so on. And if I'm not mistaken, you have a background in M&A.
Yes.
So, given that, are the company or parts of you for sale? And with the proximity of Rio Tinto and BHP, I think you mentioned in Peru, and we have Freeport in Jamaica. So. How can you reply to that?
Yeah, I'll reply to that is we're commercial in nature, and we're here to create value for shareholders, and it's about risk versus reward. And I'll give an example of a previous company I was involved with where we made a discovery of 4 million ounces. We were a 20 million market cap company. As we delineated that ore body, the value moved higher, and then we were acquired for 850 million. We were building what would have been the first mine at the time. We thought that mine should be valued about $1 billion. But 850 million on the table, risk-free, that's probably the right deal for shareholders. So we work for the shareholders, and that's what we'll do. I've spent half my career on the exploration and development side and half on the operating side. And I'll tell you, I've been involved in several mine builds honestly, if I can have my way, I'll never build another mine again. It's a totally different skill set. You have to bring up a team. So what I would like to try and do with this company is delineate big resources and exit to the highest bidder is I think the most appropriate thing. But again, that's a shareholder and board decision, and I'm only one of 7 board members.
And you need to get the ducks in a row, which
That's
you apparently seem to. Well, Dan, an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
We give him a round of applause.